Good morning. This is Prabhakar Valivati again from MentorSquare. In this audio visual, I'll be talking to you about some of the initial challenges in a business which has just probably acquired its first customer or first set of customers, and how you actually nurture a business in the early days. Now, after the first burst of work where you've got some money, you've got your team in place, perhaps you've spent a lot of time getting your product or service ready, and perhaps you've got your first customer or first set of customers. Those initial days are very, very heady days. In fact, you start to ask if this is all for real because you've now got customers who are probably paying you for your product or service. So you start asking, is this for real or is this just a dream? And then you also realize that quite possibly, when you sit and reflect, you think that some of the things which have been going on within the company are very, very unstructured. And you think that this is the time for you to bring some order into the chaos. This is the right time for you to start looking at building an institution. You're going beyond just starting a business to working towards building an institution. Now, in the early days, when you're getting organized, there are three primary areas of focus. The first area of focus is to look at the structure, the processes, the systems, and the people who can potentially be in charge of these structures, these processes and systems, because it's these which will help you build a foundation for growth. So you want to be able to systematize and bring some order into every aspect of your business. The second area of focus is providing the right kind of oversight and supervision and management and leadership on these structure and processes to the extent that they will have to help the business rather than stifle or suffocate the business. You don't want the business to become very bureaucratic, but you don't want the business to become ad hoc either. The third area of focus while you're doing this is to start looking at how you can now grow or expand the business. So these three areas essentially determine, or what you're doing is to lay a foundation for growth. Every single aspect of the business will require your attention. The timing of when you get started on this is now. Now means when you've got your first customer or first set of customers and you've got a few people working in your organization and so on. So the sooner you get organized, the lower the risk of your business becoming completely ad hoc and therefore vulnerable. As always, it's good to invest some time, effort, and money now in bringing some method to the madness rather than trying to sort things out later. The other advantage of the timing is that the initial success actually, in a way, binds all the team members because everyone is heady and everyone is excited about the prospects. So take advantage of that in order to get some of your systems and processes going. Now, where do you start? This is an easy question. Everywhere. Every single aspect of the business needs your attention in order for you to be able to systematize it. If you're the CEO or the founder or the managing partner of your business, it starts with you as well. The first thing which I would suggest is you take some quiet time to identify the different areas of your business which need this kind of processes and structure and which need oversight and discipline. It's also important for you as the CEO to not only know what needs to be done, but you also need to have an idea as to how it can get done and who potentially can do it. As I said, every single area needs your attention, but some of the areas which need very close monitoring are A, money. Now, money is the lifeblood of any business. Do you know exactly at any point in time how much money you have in the business, how much money you're likely to generate over the next 3 months or next 6 months, how much money you're likely to spend over the next 3 months or 6 months, and how much money you need to invest in, let's say, a little bit of growth? So it's important for you as a CEO to have a handle on money as far as your business is concerned. It's also important for you to know something about your market. It's important for you to know how your market is responding to your product or service. It's important for you to know what kind of sales efforts are going on. Do you have a sales process? Do you have a sales pipeline? What kind of demand stimulation activities are going on? You need to know what kind of customer service activities are going on within the company. Are customers happy with what you're offering? Or are there some rumblings of discontent and for some reason you do not know about it? If there is a customer problem, you as a CEO must know it, and you must have a system by which this information comes to you. You need to know about your people, how good they are, their training needs, etc. You need to know something about your operations, your manufacturing, your production, your product quality, your supply chain. It's not important for you to know all there is to know in each of these areas, but you need to have an idea as to what is happening in each of these areas. Once you have done this, it's important for you to start getting others involved too. It's the first thing I would recommend is to enlist the support of key people, key to your business. And you need to be able to explain to these key people the various areas of business which need to be managed, which need oversight, which need a disciplined approach. You will have to ask them how the business can potentially bring in these quote unquote controls. Find out who can potentially do this, who can take ownership of different processes in different areas, encourage widespread views, and then make it a habit to meet people regularly so that you can ask your colleagues for a date by which they will come back to you with an approach as to how they will start managing different aspects of the business. Remember, you can't do everything yourself, but as a CEO or a founder or a managing partner, you provide leadership and guidance. But you provide leadership and guidance with some knowledge yourself about how these things need to get done. Thereafter, it's a question of managing the whole process. As I said earlier, get into the habit of meeting people regularly. Make sure that the other founders, co-founders, the other team members are playing their part in helping establish a disciplined way of running the business along different dimensions, starting from your supply chain all the way up to customer service. Make sure that every team member owns a particular process or a particular area. Give them some freedom to develop a sensible way of managing the particular process. And team meetings are a great way for peer reviewing different processes and controls. So what happens is you actually build some kind of an organization which is contributing to building discipline across the company. It's also good for you to encourage people to speak up. There will always be a slew of good news and bad news coming in. There is a tendency for people to hold the bad news from you, but if you make it very clear to them that you want to hear all the news, good, bad, ugly, you will find that people are going to be a lot more forthcoming, a lot more open. Seek alternate views. Try and not impose your own views on the group. Please remember, if you're not imposing your views, you're not going to be seen as a weak leader. But at the same time, if you think that the situation is going out of control or there are too many ideas floating around and people are not able to lock into a particular way of doing things, it's a good policy for you to step in at that point in time and then gently but firmly emphasize that perhaps this is the way things need to be done. It's important for you to know that you not only seem or look like a good leader, but you are a good leader. You don't want to be seen as an authoritarian or a dictatorial leader, because that will not really help you build a growing concern. But it's important for you to know that you will allow people their place under the sun, help them bloom, help them generate ideas, provide them with whatever training, support, education they need in order to help them bloom. Because that's the way you actually lay the basis for an organizational culture. Please do not underestimate the importance of this culture, because effectively, whenever you read about an organization's culture, remember that the beginnings are always very, very humble, and very often it starts with you. Thank you very much. This is Prabhakar Valivati from MentorSquare.